Okay, let's unpack this. The world of artificial intelligence feels like it's accelerating at warp speed. Seriously, every week, another headline, another breakthrough.
Totally. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
And if you're like us, you want to cut through the noise and understand what's really significant. That's exactly what we're doing today. A deep dive into two major recent developments. We've got Google I/O 25 and OpenAI's, well, colossal undertaking, Project STARGATE.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how these two things, Google showing off all its new AI models and apps, and OpenAI planning this massive infrastructure spend, they really give us a powerful glimpse into where AI is heading, like right now.
Right.
So we've dug through the Google keynote transcript, got an inside look at OpenAI's plans, and we're aiming to pull out the essential insights for you, the surprising bits, the so what behind it all.
Think of this as your express lane. Yeah. Getting you up to speed on the biggest shifts in AI without feeling totally overwhelmed. So let's dive straight into Google I/O 2025. Sundar Pichai really wasn't kidding about the speed of innovation in this Gemini era, was he?
No, absolutely not. The progress with the Gemini models themselves has been, well, incredibly fast. You look at the ELO scores.
Like the AI ranking system.
Exactly. They've jumped over 300 points since the first Gemini Pro came out. That's a huge leap. It really shows how much better they're getting at complex stuff.
Wow.
And Gemini 2.5 Pro apparently just swept the El Marino leaderboard, all categories.
So not just small tweaks then, a real surge.
Definitely. And it wasn't just, general smarts. The coding progress is equally impressive. Gemini 2.5 Pro hit #1 on WebDev Arena.
Beating the last version by how much?
By 140 ELO points, which is pretty significant in that space. Plus, it's apparently the fastest growing model on Cursor now.
Cursor, the coding tool.
Yeah, generating hundreds of thousands of lines of accepted code every single minute. It's like having this super efficient coding partner that just doesn't stop.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
It really shows how AI is moving from just being an assistant to actually being a core part of the development process itself.
And then there was that slightly unexpected example, Pokemon Blue.
Haha, yeah. Gemini completing Pokemon Blue, getting all 8 badges, beating the Elite Four, the whole thing.
Which sounds fun, but what's the actual point there?
Well, it seems playful. It's actually a great demo of the model's ability to navigate a really complex, goal-driven environment, successfully figuring out a whole virtual world, essentially.
Okay, I get it. Like a memorable way to show off problem solving and strategic thinking.
Exactly. Now, this kind of rapid progress, it doesn't just happen, right? It's obviously built on some serious hardware muscle, like that 7th-gen TPU, Ironwood.
Right, the tensor processing unit.
Yeah, that thing delivers a 10-fold increase in performance. It boasts something like 42.5 exaflops of compute per pod.
Which is a lot.
An almost unimaginable amount. An exaflop is a quintillion operations per second. This kind of infrastructure is what lets them train and run these huge models.
And you see that in the token processing numbers too, right?
Absolutely. A 50-fold increase in monthly tokens processed in just 1 year. They went from 9.7 trillion up to 480 trillion. It gives you a sense of the sheer volume of data these things are crunching.
Crazy numbers. And it looks like developers are jumping on board.
Oh, definitely. Over 7 million developers are using the Gemini API now. That's 5 times more than last year's I/O.
Wow.
And usage on Vertex AI up more than 40 times.
But it's not just the tech crowd using it.
No, not at all. The Gemini app itself has over 400 million monthly active users. And those AI overviews in Google Search, over 1.5 billion people using them every month.
So this is mainstream adoption happening really, really fast.
It totally underscores how quickly AI is becoming just, a normal part of our digital lives for developers creating stuff and for everyday folks just looking for info or help.
Okay, so that's the current Gemini stuff.
Yeah.
But I/O wasn't just about that. They also showed off some pretty futuristic research projects.
Yeah, some really interesting ones like Google Beam, the next step for Project Starline.
Right, the 3D video thing.
Turning standard 2D video into super realistic 3D using AI and a bunch of cameras, rendered on a special 3D light field display. It's supposed to feel like you're actually in the room with someone.
And they're working with HP to get it out there.
Yeah, for early customer availability. That's a big step towards making it, a real product.
And that tech feeds into other things too.
It seems so, like the real-time speech translation in Google Meet. They said it's built on some of the same underlying tech.
And it does more than just translate words.
That's the goal, to capture the speaker's tone, their speech patterns, even expressions, to make translated conversations feel more natural, more human. It's available now for English and Spanish subscribers.
Well, more language is coming. That could be huge for breaking down barriers.
For sure. Then there's Gemini Live, but with capabilities from Project Astro baked in.
Astro, that's the AI assistant that can see and hear through your phone.
Exactly. So Gemini Live will let you talk about anything you see through your camera or share on your screen.
The examples seem pretty diverse, like practicing for job interviews or getting tips during marathon training.
Yeah, really versatile. And they shed some funny bits where Gemini kind of gently corrects you if you misunderstand something. It adds this layer of natural interaction.
Making it feel less like a command and response thing.
Precisely. It's moving towards a more fluid, conversational back and forth where the AI gets the context.
And then there was Project Mariner and Agent Mode. This sounds like a big step towards, well, AI agents doing things for us.
Yeah, an agent that can actually interact with the web to get stuff done. And now it can handle up to 10 tasks at once.
10 things simultaneously. And it can learn by watching you, teach and repeat.
Right. That combo is powerful. And they're making those computer use capabilities available to developers via the Gemini API. We could see a whole new wave of apps built on this.
The demo of Agent Mode finding an apartment in Austin seemed pretty slick. Setting the budget, roommates, finding listings, even scheduling tours.
It shows that shift, doesn't it? From AI just finding information to AI actually completing tasks for you, under your control, of course.
And personal context is key here, too.
Absolutely. Gemini models using relevant info from across your Google apps with your permission, always to tailor things, like those personalized smart replies in Gmail.
Where it looks at your notes, Drive, past emails, maybe your travel itinerary.
Yeah, and generates replies that actually sound like you, matching your tone and style. That's coming to Gmail this summer for subscribers. Could be really useful.
Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into the models themselves. Demis Hassabis made some pretty bold claims about Gemini 2.5 Pro.
He did, called it the most intelligent model ever, the best foundation model out there. Strong words.
And then there's Gemini Flash, the efficient one.
Right, the workhorse model. Now updated to 2.5 Flash. Apparently better reasoning, code, long context. Only second to 2.5 Pro on that El Marina leaderboard. So they're offering choices, different models for different jobs.
Makes sense. And what about for developers specifically? Any big updates there?
Yeah, Tulsi Doshi mentioned a few key things. New text-to-speech previews that can handle multiple speakers, like 2 voices, and native audio output.
What does native audio output mean?
It means more expressive AI voices. They can capture subtle things like whispers, apparently, and switch seamlessly between like 24 languages. That adds a whole new feel to AI interactions.
Definitely. More natural.
Plus, better security protections, which is always crucial. And thought summaries.
You can see why the AI gave a certain answer.
Kind of, yeah. More transparency into its reasoning. That builds trust. Also, efficiency gains in 2.5 Flash, and they're bringing thinking budgets to 2.5 Pro.
Thinking budgets.
Basically, letting developers balance cost and latency versus the quality of the response. More control.
The coding demos were pretty wild, too. Taking a sketch and turning it into a 3D web app.
Yeah, for that American Museum of Natural History exhibit. Right there in Google AI Studio, from a rough drawing to code with 3D animations, just using prompts, and adding native audio to make it more interactive.
That really lowers the barrier for creating cool stuff.
Totally. And then there's Jules, the coding agent. It's in public beta now.
What does Jules do?
It tackles complex coding tasks in big code bases, like updating Node.js across a whole project. Stuff that takes humans ages, it can do in minutes. Could really speed up development.
Okay, wow. And what about Gemini Diffusion for text?
Yeah, research into diffusion models for text generation. The key there is speed. Super low latency, like 5 times faster than their previous light model, while apparently matching the coding performance.
Solving a math problem instantly in the demo.
Right. It gives you a glimpse of how fast and responsive AI could become. And Hassabis also mentioned a deep think mode for 2.5 Pro.
Pushing performance even further.
Exactly. Getting groundbreaking results on really tough benchmarks like academic math competitions and advanced coding tests. They're testing it carefully before a wider release.
It sounds like they're constantly pushing the intelligence boundary.
They are. And the bigger vision Hassabis talked about is Gemini as a world model.
Meaning?
An AI that can simulate aspects of the world to make plans, imagine scenarios. He drew parallels to simulation games, showing examples like representing nature or VO understanding basic physics. It's about a deeper understanding of reality.
And Gemini Robotics fits into that.
Yeah, a specialized model just for teaching robots useful tasks. bringing that AI capability into the physical world.
So the ultimate vision for the Gemini app is this universal AI assistant.
Pretty much. Personal, proactive, powerful, a key step towards AGI, they said. Bringing in those Project Astra features, video understanding, screen sharing, memory into Gemini Live. Plus, better voice output, memory, and computer control.
The bike repair example with Project Astra was quite something. Searching online, watching YouTube, checking emails for specs, calling the shop, looking up the manual.
Even suggesting dog baskets. It really paints a picture of this integrated assistant helping with complex, multi-step tasks.
Okay, so that's Gemini. Let's switch to Google Search. That's also getting a major AI overhaul.
Huge changes there, too. Pichai emphasized the core mission organizing information, but AI overviews have clearly been a big success since last I.O.
1.5 billion monthly users is massive.
And user satisfaction is up, people are searching more frequently. It shows generative AI really resonates in search.
And now they're launching AI mode.
A total reimagining, they called it. More advanced reasoning, handling much longer, more complex questions 2 or 3 times longer than usual searches, and supporting follow-ups.
So a fundamental shift in how we search.
That's the idea. Liz Reed said people are asking harder questions, and AI mode, with Gemini 2.5 inside, is built to tackle pretty much anything. It's rolling out in the US now as a new tab in search.
And the tech behind it. Query fan out.
Yeah, that seems key. Breaking down complex questions into related subqueries, searching simultaneously across the web in Google's own data like the knowledge graph, shopping graph, local maps data.
Much broader search.
Exactly. And the interface changes dynamically depending on the question text, images, links, maps, all integrated. They're also planning deep search in labs soon.
Which does even more fan out.
Multiplies it. Dozens, maybe hundreds of searches to generate these expert-level reports with links could be amazing for research.
And personalization is coming too.
This summer in labs, suggestions based on past searches and connected apps like Gmail. The example was finding restaurants with outdoor seating, but also suggesting nearby events based on your flight and hotel bookings.
As long as the user has control over connecting data.
Absolutely. They stressed user control. Plus, complex analysis and data visualization are coming. Rajan Patel showed analyzing baseball stats, batting averages, home runs with interactive graphs right in search.
Making complex data easier to grasp.
Right. And then integrating Project Mariner's agent capabilities into search.
So search can start doing things.
That's the plan, starting with finding event tickets, making restaurant reservations, booking global services, search taking work off your plate but still under your control.
And search live, bringing the camera into it.
Yeah, using Project Astra's live camera abilities within AI mode, getting real-time help with the DIY repairs, tricky homework, learning new skills, like having an expert looking over your shoulder.
Shopping is getting enhanced too.
Big time. Visual inspiration from images in the shopping graph, which has over 50 billion product listings now. Personalized recommendations based on your preferences and context, like finding a rug that matches your couch and holds up to kids.
That virtual try-on feature sounds interesting.
Yeah, using a custom AI model trained on fashion and 3D shape understanding. You upload a photo and it shows how clothes might look on you. That's in labs now.
And agentic checkout.
Coming soon. You track a price, get notified, and search can automatically buy it with Google Pay when it hits your target. Could save a lot of hassle.
Okay, let's circle back to the Gemini app itself. The vision there seems very ambitious.
It really is. Josh Woodward framed it as personal, proactive, and powerful.
Personal context, meaning sharing more Google info.
Yeah, beyond just search history, if you choose to make Gemini uniquely helpful, always with user control.
And proactive. The AI anticipating needs.
Like the example of the student with a physics exam coming up. Gemini proactively offering personalized quizzes and custom explainer videos, moving towards a truly helpful companion.
And leveraging 2.5 Pro in the app means users can do some pretty advanced stuff.
Absolutely. Inventing games, making websites quickly, generating and editing images with VO, putting serious creative power in your pocket.
They launched 5 key things in the app today, right?
Yep. Gemini Live, now with camera and screen sharing, rolling out free everywhere, deep research, now letting you upload your own files to guide the agent. Gemini and Chrome, understanding page context. Imagen 4 for much richer image generation, and VO 3 for video.
VO 3 sounded particularly impressive with native audio.
Yeah, generating sound effects, background sounds, even dialogue. The example of the wise owl and the nervous badger speaking, that's pretty advanced. plus photorealistic generation.
And they introduced new subscription plans, too.
Right. Google AI Pro, available globally with higher limits and special features, and Google AI Ultra, starting in the US with the highest limits, earliest access, Deep Think mode, Flow with VO3, YouTube Premium, offering different tiers of access. It shows they see real value in these premium AI tools.
Okay, shifting focus again, AI interacting with the physical world. Android seems central here.
Definitely. Shahramazadi talked about Android being the best platform for AI. Gemini is coming soon to watches, car dashboards, TVs, making AI more ambient.
And Android XR, the new platform for headsets and glasses.
Yeah, built specifically for this Gemini era, they're collaborating with Samsung, optimized for Snapdragon chips, reimagining Google apps for XR, plus existing mobile apps will work too.
Gemini on headsets, like Samsung's Project Muhan.
Yeah.
Infinite screens.
That's the idea. Exploring apps with Gemini there to help, like Maps XR, letting you teleport and explore, or watching baseball like you're at the stadium while asking Gemini for stats. Available later this year.
And Android XR glasses, lightweight, all-day wear.
That's the concept. Camera, mics for Gemini, speakers for audio, maybe an in-lens display. Working with your phone for hands-free access.
The live demo backstage sounded pretty cool, sending texts, identifying things, playing music, getting directions.
Remembering the coffee shop name, showing photos, sending an invite, taking a picture, and the live translation between Hindi and Farsi was impressive.
Showing English translation, too. That's incredibly useful.
And they're partnering with Samsung on the glasses, too, plus eyewear brands like Gentle Monster and Warby Parker to make them look good.
Style is definitely important for wearables.
For sure. Developer access is coming later this year.
So wrapping up the Google section, Sundar Pichai brought it back to the bigger picture, beyond the AI counter joke.
Yeah, focusing on real-world impact. Things like FireSat using AI and satellite imagery for near real-time wildfire detection.
Detecting fires as small as 270 square feet.
Wow. And Wing using drones with Walmart and the Red Cross for disaster relief deliveries during Hurricane Helene. Getting critical items where they're needed based on real-time data.
Powerful examples. And the vision for the future.
Next-gen helpful robots, new disease treatments, error-corrected quantum computers, fully autonomous vehicles. Pichai seemed convinced these are possible within years, not decades.
That's incredibly optimistic. His story about his dad and Waymo was quite touching, too.
Yeah, really grounding the tech in human experience and inspiration.
Okay, so that was a massive download from Google I/O. Now, let's pivot to the other huge story, OpenAI and Project STARGATE.
Yeah.
This sounds like infrastructure on a scale we've never seen before.
It really does. We're talking OpenAI planning to invest at least $500 billion, with a B, just on AI infrastructure.
$500 billion. Just wow.
And the first data centers are already being built in Texas. There's a site in Abilene called Project Ludicrous.
Ludicrous scale, I guess.
It seemed appropriate. It could genuinely be the largest infrastructure build in human history. The goal is creating new ways of doing business, pushing humanity forward, they say.
And given how quiet they were initially, this first look inside is pretty significant.
Absolutely. Chase Lockmiller from Crusoe, the startup overseeing it, said the Abilene site was just empty fields back in June 2024.
And the plan now?
8 separate buildings, each one housing huge clusters of GPUs, all fully interconnected, potentially up to 400,000 chips in total across those 8 buildings.
400,000 GPUs, that's astronomical.
And the speed they're aiming for is just as remarkable, targeting mid-2026 for the first 100-megawatt phase to be up and running 247. That's incredibly fast for something this size.
It really highlights the urgency, doesn't it? The AI race.
Exactly. You've got Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, xAI. Everyone's building their own massive AI data centers. It's about having the most capable AI used by the most people.
And the ultimate goal, beyond just better chatbots, is AGI, artificial general intelligence.
That seems to be the underlying driver for OpenAI, yes. The hope, or maybe the bet, is that this sheer amount of compute power will unlock vastly more capable large language models. Sam Altman basically said they realized they needed way more compute after GPT-4 launched, and usage just exploded unexpectedly.
So Stargate came out of that realization.
Yeah.
That they just didn't have enough power.
Seems like it. The name Stargate apparently came from an early data center layout that just happened to look like the device from the TV show.
Ah, okay. And getting this done required some big partnerships.
For sure. Altman went on global trips trying to understand the supply chain, which led to talks with Masayoshi Son at SoftBank and Larry Ellison at Oracle.
And Masa's son really believes in this.
Hugely. He talked about AGI changing mankind's life in every single aspect. He committed what? Initially $100 billion, then apparently upped it to $500 billion based on the capacity they think they'll need just for the next few years. He believes it'll create that much value back.
That's an incredible level of conviction. And the actual construction site sounds intense.
Yeah, the description mentioned tons of forklifts, cranes, trucks, excavators, 155 vehicles just moving earth, bringing in workers from 7 different states.
It really drives home the point that AI isn't just software. There's this massive physical reality behind it.
That's often underappreciated, yeah. And it's a global thing now. Data centers popping up everywhere. Malaysia, Japan, France. Countries see them as critical infrastructure.
Lockeller's background is interesting, too. From Wall Street AI to crypto mining.
Right, using flared natural gas near oil rigs to power Bitcoin mining, then pivoting to AI infrastructure. He pointed out similarities the huge energy needs, being less tied to specific locations compared to traditional data centers.
That shift from CPU-based data centers, like for cloud computing, to these GPU-heavy AI data centers like STARGATE is a fundamental change.
Absolutely. Inside one of the halls under construction, they're planning to house a massive cluster of NVIDIA's newest Blackwell GPUs. Oracle is set to install up to 50,000 chips per building.
An AI factory. The end product is intelligence.
That's the concept, and OpenAI feels the urgency to get this factory running, especially after seeing the insane demand for things like their new image generator.
Altman's tweet about GPUs melting? That wasn't literal, right?
Haha, no, just a joke about the intense demand and the heat they generate. But it highlighted the bottleneck. They were borrowing compute from research, slowing down other features, just because they didn't have enough GPUs. More compute directly means more AI for everyone.
And it's not just the chips, it's all the supporting infrastructure, too.
Exactly. The power, the cooling, the networking. It's a massive, complex system needed to support these AI workloads.
So, okay, let's try to pull this all together. Google I/O shows AI getting smarter, more agentic, more personal, woven into everything. And OpenAI Stargate reveals the absolutely enormous physical foundation being laid to power this whole revolution, maybe even leading to AGI.
Yeah, what really hits you is just the sheer scale of it all, both the leap in AI capabilities and the size of the infrastructure build. Google crunching almost 500 quadrillion tokens a month.
It's hard to even picture that number.
Right. And OpenAI throwing $500 billion at Project Stargate. It just underlines how much more compute power they think is needed, and soon.
It really drives home how fast this field is moving and the, frankly, staggering resources being poured into it. So if you've been feeling like it's impossible to keep up, we hope this deep dive has given you, a solid handle on the really key developments without making your head spin.
Hopefully.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. With this incredible surge in AI power and this unprecedented infrastructure build, what do you think will be the single most transformative application in the next few years? Is it going to be science, medicine, maybe completely new kinds of entertainment, or something totally unexpected? The potential feels, well, almost limitless right now.
That's the big question, isn't it? What does all this capability, all this infrastructure actually enable in the long run? It's definitely going to have profound impacts one way or another.
Well said. It's certainly a space we'll keep watching very closely, and we'll be back to help you make sense of it all. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. The future of AI is looking incredibly dynamic and maybe, just a little bit awe-inspiring.